Have you ever seen a movie where 98% of the people in it had no idea that they were in a movie when it was being filmed? It's a weird concept. I mean, the first thing you think of is documentaries, but those people are aware that they're being filmed. This is kind of like one of those Jackass movies where there are pranks on people, but it's actually merged together into a cohesive linear narrative, which is so strange. By far, I have to say that this movie is the most I've ever liked a film in this genre of prank comedy, but not really prank comedy. Just, I guess I would say, guerrilla filmmaking art house comedy. It really wants to ask the viewer, what do they think is comedy? What do they think is art? And it's going to go all over the place on that. I mean, a lot of comedy can be deeply purient, and if you're aware of what I'm kind of blocking in the poster behind me, you'll know that this movie doesn't fail to be purient at times, but it also really kind of gets very impressive at other times. I mean, they're going up to people who have no idea that they're about to be in a movie, and they're asking them to do things for the characters like give them monologues of emotional support. And you're going to be super surprised by the dialogue generated by people who are not actors, who are not writers, who are genuinely trying to reach out to a human they have never met before and offer them some sort of emotional connection. That's the point in which Bad Trip is almost a 4-star movie. It does, however, get to points where it's a 2-star movie. It's just stupid scenes of things that I don't find funny. But I am fully aware of the fact that other people do find funny. So this movie is experimenting with what a group of people could still enjoy when not all of it is geared towards any one particular type of person. That's really impressive. I mean, the New York Times review of this said it is a film feat to be celebrated. And I do feel like this film should be celebrated. I gave it 3 stars because it's the highs. I tried to take an average of the two. But I really think that this is like a dish from a chef that is so experimental. It doesn't quite hit right for you, but it's so different that you want to encourage the chef to keep trying, keep making more. I'm going to keep coming to this restaurant and seeing what else comes out of it. It's really interesting. And I do have to admit, you're going to have to be aware of the fact that this film is an experiment while you're watching it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to make it through. The scenes that are just maybe too uncomfortable for you, it does have Schadenfreude in it, but it doesn't ever get mean. And that's the point in which I needed that threshold. If it ever got really mean towards the people who were helping these people make a movie, it would have been a cutout for me. But if you can enjoy the fact that the editing between scenes which are clearly the actors working together on a closed set and scenes that are outside in nature never felt abrupt, never felt like you were suddenly on an iPhone camera, when sometimes you are, and the sound. These people are not mic'd. You're just getting sound ambient, and you're getting sound from the mic on the actor you have. If you're interested in editing, if you're interested in filmmaking, this is really interesting for you. You have to stay in it. You have to watch this movie to see how they do that. The placement on some of these cameras is astonishing. I can't believe that people did not know there were cameras all over the place. I also find it a little bit hard to believe that when this movie came out in 2021, there were people who couldn't recognize Eric Andre. I mean, maybe you didn't recognize Little Ray Howery. Sorry. I want to say you didn't recognize Hannibal Buress before he got the makeover and they took his glasses off in a 90s rom-com. That I believe. And then also Tiffany Haddish. Like, bless your hearts, you went and found people who didn't know these people. That, again, a feat to be celebrated. Of course, your mileage is going to vary on this because some people just can't stand this genre. I do encourage you to make it to the end, or if you can't, fast forward to the end, because you're going to get a really funny spoof scene of a very popular movie. You're also going to get the bloopers, where you see the people who are in this movie who are not actors finding out that they are in a movie. And that itself is very much an emotional release that you needed if you felt uncomfortable for people in this, because it reminds you that, hey, everybody consented at some point to being in this. They took multiple takes. If the actor or the person who was in the scene didn't want that film to be used, if they didn't want their likeness, if they didn't want their voice used, they opted out and that didn't get used. So everyone who's in this is consenting. And again, it never really gets mean. It just sometimes gets a little stupid and childish. But, you know, if you are looking at a movie with Eric Andre and it's directed by, oh God, what's the name of the director? Kitao Sakurai. He directed the Eric Andre show. You kind of know what to expect. Beyond that, though, it's really, really interesting movie that shows, like, a way to make movies I had never really thought about before.